Hi, this is Jack Litzel, founder, and this is another edition to It's All About the Experience. One of my favorite movies of all time is a movie called Eddie and the Cruisers. If you like rock and roll and you like drama, you'd probably like the movie, but Eddie is a music writer and he's looking for somebody to put the words with the music. And there's a character that Tom Berenger plays where he's a writer, he's a word writer, and they hook up. Eddie actually ends up calling him Word Man, but there's a great scene in the movie where Eddie says to the Berenger character, he says, Word Man, he said, words and music, you can't have one without the other. Words and music. Well, for successful businesses today, it's kind of the same thing. In order to survive, you need both sales and service. Sales and service. You can't have one without the other. Now, understand, everyone in your company is responsible for sales, and everyone's responsible for service. All sales are driven by service and vice versa. Obviously every company depends on sales to succeed, to keep its door open, to give you job security, to keep you employed. And except for a few companies, most companies rely on the repeat customer, repeat business from existing customers to drive their sales. So how do you generate repeat business from current customers and generate referrals? Real simple. By giving the customer a great experience every time in every interaction that we deal with them. Now, obviously, the key word here is every time. So regardless of the title that you have or the role that you play in an organization, if you come in contact with the customer, whether it's answering the phone, whether it's ringing up an order, or providing technical support in a home or an office or the farm, the service that you provide is critical to the sales of your organization. Now, I'll give you a great example. We have a pool. I have a company that opens and closes our pool. They've done it for 10 years. The name of the company is Ted's Pools. They do a great job. Now there's probably a dozen companies in my area that open and close pools for people like myself. I always use Ted's Pools because they give me a great experience every time. They always have. So I do repeat business with them. Now, Ted has two brothers that work with him that open and that close the pools for him. Their names are Mike and Rob. Now, it's not uncommon for Mike or Rob, when they finish up a job, they'll even say to me, Mr. Litz, we noticed a small tear in the liner. We just went ahead and patched it for you. Or we noticed there was a small bolt missing on the ladder. We went ahead and replaced it for you. Or since we've folded the cover, do you want us to put it in the basement before we leave? There's always something a little extra they do in their experience, which is why I keep coming back to them. Now, do Mike and Rob think of themselves as sales guys? Not in your life. They open and close pools. But are they critical to the sales of that organization? You bet they are. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't pick Ted out of a lineup if I had to. To me, the face of that company are Mike and Rob. And the day that they stop providing me a level of service that I expect is the day that I take my sales someplace else. So service clearly drives sales. But just as service drives sales, so too does sales provide service. Now, what do I mean by that? There's one phrase, you guys have heard this phrase, but there's one phrase that estimates have said has been responsible for over $1 billion in add-on business. Want to take a guess what it is? If you guessed, would you like fries with that? You'd be right. Estimates have said billions of dollars of upselling has happened because people at the drive-through window say, would you like fries with that? Billions of dollars worth of sales. So whether you call it cross-selling, upselling, add-on selling, whatever you want to call it, it's one of the best ways in your organization to increase sales. It's easy, it costs nothing. But the problem is the way most companies deal with upselling or cross-selling is inadequate because of the way they experience the customers. And I'll give you an example. When I get my oil change, I go to one of these fast oil lube places. And I know every time I get my oil change that the person changing the oil is going to come by with an example of a clean air filter and show me what my air filter looks like. And says it's probably a good idea to change your air filters. I know that. And the premise is right. I know the premise is right because there's an opportunity there for another sale. But the problem is, to me, the words are canned and the meaning's not genuine. They don't mean it. I get a feeling when they do it, they're just trying to sell me. They're just trying to upsell me. I get a feeling that management has told them, every time you do an oil change, you got to sell a filter. That's the feeling I get. I don't get a genuinely feeling from the person. As a result, I don't do it. Now, I have a lot of people, when I share this with them, I have a lot of people in technical support, and administration. They say, well, my job's not in sales. I'm not a sales guy. I was hired to fix things. I was hired to install things. I'm not a sales guy. If I wanted to be in sales, I would have gone into sales. And if that's your mindset, I'm going to suggest stop thinking then as a salesperson. You're not a salesperson. Your job is to serve the customer by doing the right thing. Service and sales go hand in hand just as much as sales and service go hand in hand, and service and sales. I'll give you an example. Recently, I had my lawnmower into the repair shop. I couldn't get it started. I had to take it into the shop. The service guy called me, told me what was wrong, said what it was going to take to fix it. And then he said, by the way, Mr. Litz, we noticed the blades are kind of dull. Have you sharpened the blades in a while? Since you got in the shop, it might be a good idea to go ahead and sharpen the blades. Is that sales or is that service? To me, that's providing me a level of service, not sales. He was upselling me, sure, but I don't think that was his intention. He was bringing me a level of service. When Mike and Rob come out to open my pool, they say they're going to be there on Thursday, and they say, by the way, Mr. Litz, do you want us to bring some chemicals when we come out so you don't have to go into town? Is that sales or is that service? To me, it's service because it's not canned and it's genuine. So I challenge you this. Improve your service experience through sales. Sell them something that brings value to them as a customer. And if you do that, that will be the basis of building a relationship for life.